coming when I feel like it. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm MC, and it has been about 6 weeks since I've sat down to film one of these, so I figured just in case you're new here, let me do a reintroduction to myself. I normally give a little tidbit about myself at the beginning, but let's do a little bit more today. Like I said, I'm MC. I'm a knit and crochet designer and yarn dyer from coastal Connecticut. I live here with my husband, Joe, our two cats, Miko and Karu, and our silly little dog who is always causing trouble named Shandy. And she is sleeping over here behind me. You might be able to see at points when she rolls around and sticks her legs up in the air. Anyway, we are here for episode 47 of the podcast. Today, as I am filming, it is currently Wednesday, April 23rd, and I haven't filmed in a very, very long time. So I am a little bit out of it. We are going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about knitting. We're going to talk about crochet. We're going to talk about spinning. I don't have any fleece or fiber prep for you today. We're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about life in general, and a very, very tiny bit about my trip to Hawaii. I am planning on doing a more in-depth video with clips and stuff from that, so I won't harp on it too long in here. But yeah, that's what we're up to for today. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, you can find me pretty much anywhere out on the internet as Blame the Knots, and on my website, blametheknots.com. So, let's move right along. I am wearing a wrinkled t-shirt today, so we don't have any knitwear to talk about that I'm wearing. Let's move right on in to our finished objects. Da, 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 da. She's done. She's done. She's finally done. I told you she would be done. I promised that this would be done by the next time you saw it, and here I am, sticking to my promises. This is the C Street dress. I need to back up so that I can show it to you. I still can't even get it all in the frame. It is super wrinkled. It's super wrinkled. Most of what I'm going to show you today is wrinkled because it's been packed up in a bag. Like I said, if you haven't been here before, if you're new, I was just traveling for about a month straight, and everything was jammed into a carry-on. So we got wrinkles, and we'll deal with it. This is my C Street dress. Like I said, this is a design by me. There is a knit version coming out as well by Bree of Little Wolf Knits. This is made using my own colorway, Thank Your, on my For Sure fingering base, and it is currently in testing. So if you are excited about it, it will be coming in July. It has waist shaping, hip increases. It's so fun and it looks so good on, but it is way too cold in Connecticut right now for me to be wearing it. So maybe one day I'll wear it on a podcast, but today is not that day. The next thing I have to show you is a new cast on that you didn't see and has now turned into a finished object. And this is a new design that has been swimming around in my brain for a while and will also be a collaboration pattern with my lovely friend Mac of Made by Mac, or Mac Dye Conley on Instagram, and this is the Shaka Bralette. And I love it so much. This is using two of my colors, which are going to ruin the camera. This main color, the pink, is Power Surge, and the yellow is What's Up, both on my No Duh DK base, and it's a cute little bralette with some contrast straps. And I have to make another one because I was silly and I used the wrong needle for the ribbing. It's It's not a big deal. It fits just fine, but it's not quite as snug and supportive as I want it to be underneath the bust, which is okay. I personally don't need a ton of support, but I know a lot of people do. And I wrote the correct needle size into the pattern, and then I grabbed the wrong needle size, and I was in Hawaii. I didn't have any options, so yeah. I also didn't realize it until I was like making the straps, and I wasn't going back. So I will be making another sample. Everything is right, except I just used the wrong needle size. So this is the Shaka Bralette. Testing call coming at some point. I don't know when. I need to get the pattern finalized and get it sent off to tech editing and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, hopefully the goal would be to get this out, released before the end of the summer because, you know, it's a bralette. But yeah, that will be coming at some point soon. Also, both of these colors are from my newly released It's Electric all neon collection. And I think I'm going to be making something out of What's Up as well. Like a full garment out of it. And then I also I'm going to make my second sample of the Shaka Bralette out of at least one of the other colors in the neon collection. We'll see. Hasn't been started yet. Next up, we have 2 finished spins, and I'm very excited about them. The first one is what I have been calling my Witch's Brew spin, and this is some lovely yarn that I spun from one of the plies was 100% Targhee in the colorway Witch's Brew from Brie of the Little Wolf Knits, and then the other ply was a combination of it was like 50% Falkland, 50% Targhee of my colorway Don't Cry Shop Girl. And I decided to ply them together, and it came out really fun. It's very muted, it's very pastel and springy. So I just did a 2-ply, and it's great. It plumped up so much. I got, let's see, this skein has 231 yards, and this skein has 331 yards. So that's 562 yards total. So that's not too bad. And I have not looked at what the wraps per inch is of this, but I would say, honestly, I think it maybe looks more like a sport weight. Maybe? That's not really going to be helpful. You're not going to be able to tell the size of this on whatever screen you're using, but yeah, it's not DK. I'd say maybe a sport. It's a little, just because of how plump it is. Like, I think when I was spinning it, it would have been a fingering, but then it like totally bloomed. So I think we're looking at sport, but yeah. And I don't know if I want to keep this. I don't know. What do we think? Do I want to make something out of this? Would I wear it? Let me know. The next thing I have is my first adventuring spin, I guess. Let's call it that. I took my Dreaming Robots Nano. I don't have any. I haven't worn makeup in a really, really long time, and I feel like now I'm getting like stuff stuck to my face that I'm not used to. Anyway, I took my, who's talking to me? Sorry, my phone just rang. Let me deal with that. I took my Dreaming Robots Nano with me to Hawaii. I got a case from the Spinning Siren, and I brought it in my carry-on, and it was amazing. And then I also brought 2 braids of Upsurge from Three Waters Farm, and it was 100% Corriedale. And this is what I came up with. I spun a fractal, so What I did was I took each braid and I split it in half. And then I spun, one of the plies is just from start to finish of one braid and from start to finish of the next braid. Then the other halves, I split those in half. So then I have my second ply is like start to finish of one, and then again, and then again, and then again. So I have basically a 2-4 fractal, but really it's like a 1-2. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Basically, I spun each braid as a 1-2, but I spun them back to back. What would that be called? I don't know. I'm also still a little bit jet lagged. Let me be honest. So this again, spun a 2-ply, spun it on my Nano, plied it on my EEW6 just because why not? I finished almost the whole thing while I was in Hawaii, or almost all of the singles while I was in Hawaii. I had a little bit left when I got home, and then I plied it when I got home because it was faster. And so let's see, I got, this skein has 227 yards and this skein has 233 yards. I was pretty close. So, oh my gosh, wait, does that math? This is me like not believing that the math is as easy as it is. 460 yards. $227 plus, yeah, 460 yards. I told you I'm still a little bit jet lagged. Anyway, this came out lovely. I do actually have a decent amount left on some of the bobbins, but I decided to stop. I just decided to stop spinning. I don't really have I don't have anything to say about that. I don't have a reason. I don't have anything to say. I just had stuff left and I stopped. So here's where I'm at. 460 yards. Again, maybe like a sport weight. This actually is thinner than the other yarn. So this might be like a heavy fingering, like a really plump fingering. Yeah. Love it. Also, this is another one that I don't know if I want to keep or not. I kind of do. I kind of want to keep it because it's my special Hawaii yarn, but I also have no idea if I would ever wear this. I was thinking it might be fun to make a shawl, but I also don't know if I have enough for, I know I have enough for a shawl. I don't know if I have enough for the type of shawl that I would like to wear, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. And with that, we are done with our finished objects. So we can move into works in progress. All right, we have another new cast on since the last time that you saw me, and that is my percolated socks fingering weight version. I decided to make a pair for myself. I finished one sock and I am almost done with the leg on the second sock. These socks actually, I can turn it right way out. They are knit inside out so that when you are done, you flip them inside out and you get the reverse stockinette on the outside so that the inside is a little bit smoother for those with sensitive feet who don't like the feeling of the purl bumps on the bottom of their foot or anything like that. So I finished one sock. I was working through this pretty slowly because I was stopping throughout it to take pictures to add into the patterns. So yeah, now I just started working on the second sock. This has been going really slow because I just kept getting distracted by other things that were more fun for me to work on than a sock at the moment. But I think probably this week I'll end up cruising through this. So I am using my colorway Tall Decaf Cappuccino from my You've Got Mail collection. This is on my For Sure fingering base. And this pattern along with the DK weight version of this pattern, will be releasing on Friday, April 25th, which should also be the day that this video goes live. So these patterns are available now when you're watching this, and this will hopefully be done pretty soon. Next up, and my only other active whip at the moment, is a new shawl design that I started while we were in Hawaii, and I love it. It's a really fun texture, and this is using I know the name of the colorway is called Copper Penny. Pearl and Clover Yarn Company, and the colorway is Copper Penny, and I am almost done. I kind of want to try and get this as wide as I possibly can. Like, it's a little scrunched up on needles right now, so it's not as wide as it can go, but I obviously need more length to this. And then I really want to see if I have enough yarn left to add fringe. I don't know if it's going to happen. My yarn management is not going quite as I had hoped. No, it's going fine. It's just that I didn't realize how much yarn fringe eats up at the amount that I want to do. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. This design, I think, has a name, but I'm not going to tell you right now. So, coming when I feel like it. I'm hoping to have it done by the next time I record, but we'll see. That is all I have for works in progress at the moment. I do technically still have my E Street sweater that I am not done with, but I have not touched it in a very long time. It's not for any reason other than I didn't take it with me to Hawaii. And now I think I'm just gonna try and get the socks and shawl finished up before I pick that up, and work through that. So yeah, that's all we have for whips. I figured while I was here in this section, I don't really know where to put this, so we're gonna talk about teeny tiny little bit of something that I got while I was in Hawaii. Actually, I didn't get it. My lovely husband did. So let me tell you that story after I take it out of the noisy bag. So at one point in our trip, I will go into more details about the trip later on if you would like to hear about it, but at one point we were on the Big Island, and there is a fiber mill on the Big Island, and that is so cool, but they're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and we just had other things going on. We didn't get a chance to go to them, and that's okay. It's fine. I don't need to turn every trip into a yarn trip. But my lovely, lovely husband ended up going because my dad and I took one flight and continued on to a different island, and my husband went home from the Big Island. So he had like hours and hours and hours of time to kill between dropping us off at the airport and getting on his flight, and he went to the fiber mill for me, and he was so sweet, and he got me some goodies. Of course, he didn't get very much because he was taking a carry-on home, but I'm really grateful that he got me anything at all. So the first thing he grabbed is this skein of yarn. They are Ohana Fiber Mill, and I'm really excited to get in touch with them. This is based on what the tag says. This is a collaboration between their fiber mill and Kahua Ranch on Kohala Mountain, which I'm not familiar with where that is geographically on Hawaii, but it says it has resulted in the first ever 100% grown and spun in Hawaii yarn. And this is from Merino sheep crossed with Romney and Corriedale. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. This is worsted weight, 150 yards. So, 2.8 ounces. $78 grams. So it's like a weird size of yarn, like a 78 gram skein. But it's super cute. It does not, as far as I can tell, no, it does not have a colorway name, but it's very, very pretty. And I'm really excited to figure something out to do with that. And then he got me some bear paper. I'm super excited. This is also the same, I mean, maybe not the same sheep, but like a merino sheep crossed with Romney and Corriedale. It definitely, you can see, still has some VM in there. I think I can see. I don't know if you can see. But yeah, I'm super excited. This might be my next spinning project. Because my husband was also a good business person, and will put me in touch with this mill. And I want to be able to work with some of their product before I start reaching out to them and talking to them about potential things that we could do together. No promises, but yeah. So that's what we have from Hawaii. That is all that I got, because yarn and fiber is few and far between on the islands, but I'm super excited and grateful. Okay, next up. Next up, we have to talk about some shop things, which are small but exciting. So first things first, in the shop itself, there's really nothing new. Everything is back to normal. In the shop, there are, everything is ready for you to grab, the ready to ship stuff, the dye to order, all the listings are back to normal, and I am back to my normal schedule of dyeing and getting things out to you as the orders come in. So to those of you who did place orders while I was gone, thank you so much for your patience, and I'm doing my best to get those things out to you as fast as I can. Unfortunately, when I got home, my first day back to work, my computer broke, and I lost about 6 hours of working that I needed to do. So things are a little bit behind schedule, but I'm gonna get things out to you as fast as I can, and I really appreciate you. And on the other side of things, on the pattern and designing side, I have been working really hard on reformatting all of my patterns, and that includes not just a reformat in general to make things more cohesive, more, I don't know, fancy, a little bit nicer on the eyes, but I also have low vision accessible versions of all of my patterns that will be coming out. So keep an eye out for those. If you already have any of my patterns, whenever I release the updates and the low vision versions, you will just get a message saying that the new version is available. So you don't have to worry about anything. I will say that as I am going to be releasing these updates to the pattern, I will be adjusting my pattern pricing just a tiny bit. So if you're interested, you can get my patterns now at the slightly lower price, and then when the update releases, you will be able to update it easy peasy. You won't have to worry about waiting for the new pattern to come out. So that is always an option. My plan is to go through my pattern catalog from the very beginning, from my first pattern that I released, and update one per week. But, you know, let's give ourselves some grace. This week was already thrown off, so we're gonna go one a week-ish. and do that until we get caught up, and then moving forward, patterns will be coming out with the new formatting and the new low vision accessible versions from the get-go. So that is very exciting. And I will also be getting the patterns finally up onto my website for purchase as well, if you don't want to purchase through Ravelry or Etsy, which I need to, at the moment they're not up on Etsy either. I pulled them down while I was doing this whole reformatting thing. So yeah, lots of options for that coming as well. And I'm really excited to be getting that out there and finally done. And that is all we have for shop and business updates. MC from the future. I just remembered that I also wanted to say here that I also have figured out finally how to get really good, accurate captions for my videos. So if you are a subtitle person, you can look forward to more accurate subtitles moving forward. I do have quite a big backlog, so I can't make promises that everything, all of my videos from the past are accurate. If you find any huge errors, you can let me know and I can go in and fix them. I did my best to get captions set up for everything, but you know, mistakes can be made. But moving forward, I'm hoping that everything will be really, really good for those of you that need or want captions. Let's talk super quick about how life has been going. I mean, basically, it's been traveling. I've been traveling this whole time. I am super duper tired and jet lagged. Unfortunately, right before I left for Hawaii, I got food poisoning. I got very sick. It was a rough couple of days. It was a terrifying flight, trying to make sure that I kept all of my insides inside. And then I was unfortunately pretty down and out at the beginning of the trip. I was doing okay and I was starting to get better, but I didn't want to risk anything. And so I was feeling pretty tired and weak and going really easy on my stomach. So basically eating toast. So that was not fun. But the rest of the time was fun. We started on Oahu in Honolulu. That was really fun. I really love it there. A highlight from that is that Joe and I went to see a Cirque du Soleil show, and it was fantastic. Maybe the best show I've been to of Cirque du Soleil. I don't know. It was so good. So good. It was called Awana, and gosh, it was so good. Highly, highly, highly recommend if you ever find yourself in Honolulu. Then we went to Big Island, and that was also really fun. We went to, actually, while we were on Oahu, I went to Pearl Harbor for the first time, which I had never been to. It was a really, really lovely day. So that was really fun. Seems like the wrong word, but it was lovely. So then we went to Big Island. That was really cool. We went to Volcanoes National Park, literally in between eruptions of the volcano. It erupted, then it paused, and it was steaming while we were there. And then less than 24 hours after we were there, it erupted again. So we missed it, but that's okay. We did a lot of exploring. We went to a coffee plantation. Yeah. And then Joe came home, and my dad and I continued on to Maui, and that was lovely. I love Maui. I am wearing a Lahaina Maui shirt right now, and my dad and I went on a Hawaiian sailing canoe, which was really cool. The guy that took us out built the boat himself. We saw a turtle. We didn't see much other wildlife. Oh my gosh. Also, while we were on the Big Island, Joe and I went and we did a nighttime manta ray swim, and it was so cool. So cool. So So yeah, also recommend that. Highly, highly recommend. So yeah, that's what happened. Like I said, I'm planning on doing a more in-depth video about it, so I won't spend all of my time here in the podcast talking about it, but it was amazing. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them and talk to you about anything that we did. If you want to hear more, let me know. Happy to talk about it. I just don't want to talk your ear off right now. In terms of other life things, I mean, not much because, you know, I've been traveling. Joe and I, when I got home, we finally watched the fourth Bad Boys movie, which was very good. I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot better now that I had watched the third movie, and it made a lot more sense. So that was very good. And then the other day we watched Rush Hour, which is such a classic from back in the day, and certain parts of it maybe didn't age so well, but you know what? It was really, really nostalgic and fun to watch. And then other things that I watched on the plane, I watched The Emperor's New Groove because that's a classic, and I also watched the Super Mario movie. Is that the name of it? The movie that has Chris Pratt as Mario. I watched that on the plane, and I was planning on watching The Road to El Dorado, but then my flight didn't have screens in the seat and no Wi-Fi. So I didn't get to do that. I had to read my book instead, but that's okay. So that's literally all that's been going on. The entire time I was away, I did not watch TV or movie or anything. I watched those 2 movies on the plane, and that's it. I just read, which brings us to our books. I have read a lot since the last time you saw me. So I'm gonna go through these rapid fire, and we're just gonna, you know, title, author, rating, quick sentence about it. Who is making noise out there? Stop it. Okay, here we go. Firstly, I read The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. 3 stars. This is a book about basically trying to treat each set of 12 weeks like a year, because at the end of the year, everyone has all of this extra, you know, nerves and energy to try and get things done before the end of the year. So if you treat 12 weeks as a year, you always have that energy to try and get things done. Good idea, but the book wasn't like super inspiring. Next, I read The Lion Game by Ruth Ware. I gave that 4.5 stars. I loved it. I loved it. This is a story of some women that kind of have to go, they get called back to a place where they were at boarding school when they were young, where something bad happened, and they're called back and things start to get dug up from their past. I loved it. One of my favorite Ruth Ware books so far. Then I listened to Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was a cute little fantasy romance. It's just not my cup of tea. So I don't think I'm going to be continuing with the series, but it was cute if you like it, if you like that kind of thing. It was cute. Next, I read Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. I had a really good time with it. The end kind of fell flat. It just kind of like stopped. And I definitely think, honestly, even just like a couple more pages could have been great. I understand why the author did what they did with that ending, but oh, I would have loved just a little bit more. But it was so good. Excuse you. Next, I read The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdatter. They are, shoot, I knew this. I want to say Dutch, but I could be wrong. Anyway, this is a translated work. I will try and look it up and put on the screen what what language it's originally in. I gave this 4 stars. Again, another one I really liked. This is about a woman who has been dealing with a lot of chronic pain and exhaustion and fatigue, extreme fatigue, and she's kind of getting turned away by a lot of doctors. Everyone's just saying it's all in her head. You need to exercise more. You need to eat better. You're just not getting enough sleep. And she's like, okay, but there's something deeper going on. And then one day she falls asleep with her fitness tracking watch on and wakes up having walked 40,000 steps. And it was definitely a horror book. It got weird and gross. And again, another one that I wish the ending had been more, but it was really good. I had a great time reading it. Oh, and also both of those, Graveyard Shift and The Night Guest, are both novellas, so they were really quick reads and really, really fun. Next, again, I was in a really big novella kick. I listened to Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret, which is a weird thing to be reading in April in Hawaii, but my library hold came in, and so I just really wanted to get this series done with. This is by Benjamin Stevenson. I gave this 3 stars. It was fine. I think I'm done with this series. As of right now, the series is complete, but there are hints that more will be coming, and I think I'm done. I'm tired of it. The main character is a little bit too pretentious for me, and it kind of feels like maybe the author, sometimes it's hard to, I feel like sometimes it's easy to keep the book and the author separate, and then sometimes it just feels like, no, this author is like totally writing their own like personality into the book. And to me, this series feels like Benjamin Stevenson is a pretentious little jerk and he writes his characters that way. And I don't mean that as anything against Benjamin Stevenson as a person, so please don't take offense. I'm sure you're great, and your books are well written. I just don't like them. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. The next book I read was Haunt Sweet Home by Sarah Pinsker, another novella. And this is about a woman that works on a haunted house home improvement show in which she takes part in the hauntings. And it's just another one. The end. I feel like novellas can be so hard with getting a good ending because they're so short, and it's hard to really like stick the landing at the end. This started, oh my gosh, wait, I took a picture because I wanted to be able to like talk about this specifically here. The first sentence of this book is, if Uncle AJ hadn't screwed up Thanksgiving, I would never have learned how to haunt houses. And I was like, okay, tell me more. I want to know. And it just was so intriguing to me in the beginning. And then the ending, well, honestly, in the middle, it got so boring. It was just like really, really slow. And then the ending was like cute, but like, it could have been so much better. I can't remember if I already said I gave this 3 stars. Let's move on because we're almost there. I next up read Falls to Pieces by Douglas Corleone, and this was really weird because it was a story about people from Connecticut on Maui, and I was reading this as a person from Connecticut while I was on Maui. And they like mentioned so many things. It was really weird. It was really, really weird. So it was a good story. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was so interesting because while I was reading it, I was like, I don't think I like this. I feel like this story is like meh. But then I wanted to keep reading it the whole time. And I never wanted to stop. And I read it really, really fast. So I don't know. I guess I liked it. I guess it was good. 3.5 stars. Next up, I read Ring Shout by P. Gele Clark. And this is a very interesting book in which, I don't know what I can say on YouTube or not. Basically, what it looks like on the cover, members of a not so great, that's an understatement, horrible society, are actually like monsters, demons, and there are some monster hunters that are chasing them down, hunting them, putting an end to the destruction and hatred that this group is causing. Surprise, surprise, it was another novella. And I gave it 4 stars. It was very good. It was very enjoyable. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't want to say take on the story. That's not the right word to say it, but just an interesting perspective. And that's all we're going to talk about for right now. I actually did just finish a book, like literally as I was setting up for this, but we're just going to save it for next time, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm in the middle of reading because we got to go. I have an email that I have to get to, and I've been talking for enough time. So, is that it? I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. It is good to be back. Sorry if anything felt a little bit bumpy along the way. I think I did a pretty good job, but I don't know. None of this feels normal anymore. Make sure that you subscribe if you aren't already. Share this video with someone that you think might like it. Give the video a like and a comment because that really helps me too. And, well, it's good to be back. That's really all I gotta say. It's good to be back. I've missed you. You haven't had a break in me at all, but I've missed you. So until next time, take care of you, and I will see you later. Bye.